Hi everyone, welcome to the Rebel Knitter podcast. I am Emmy. I'm coming to you from Ashland, Virginia. I would like to apologize to some of my friends who were waiting for the podcast last week. One, it was way longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm hoping this one will be way shorter because I don't have a ton of things to talk about this week. At least I don't think so. But a lot of my friends had told me it was going to be up at... well, I keep hitting my stitch markers. I told them it was going to be up at noon on Friday. And I've done a lot of YouTube stuff before, but I haven't really done a ton of uploading for about a year due to being sick. And so they seem to have changed some of their upload settings. So the settings I used to use no longer work as well. So it didn't tell me how long it was going to take, and I was used to it telling me how long it was going to take. Turns out it doesn't do that until near the very end. And I set it to upload at like 9 p.m. on Thursday and said that to actually publish it at noon on Friday. And I woke up the next morning, I had left my computer up and it was uploading, and I found out when I woke up that it had like, I think it was like 40% uploaded at that point, and I was really confused. And then I went and maybe thought, because it had turned it had screensaver had come on, so maybe I thought that had come up, even though I'd set it not to come up. And so I left it until about 9-10ish in the morning, and I think at that point it got up to like 60%. And then I looked at this settings that they said would make it best, and I noticed that they weren't the same settings that I used. So I tried re-exporting, but it was going to take an hour because the last podcast was an hour and 15 minutes, which I don't actually mind really long podcasts. I like them. I can pause them and then, you know, watch a little bit at a time. But for the first one, it really shouldn't be that long. So when I saw that it was going to take an hour, I let it continue to upload, or export, and left the other one to upload. And, sorry, I'm shooting somewhere different, and I have a window right next to me, and there's someone walking their dogs, and the dogs are like jumping all over the guy, and it's like, I'm kind of like, I forgot what movie it is. I think it was like Ice Age or something, where it was like squirrel. I'm kind of like that. I get a little distracted by shiny objects or dogs jumping next to me. Back to what I was saying. So when when the thing finished exporting, the video on YouTube that was already uploading had gotten to like 80%, and then I put the other video to upload under it, and then I realized to make the other video upload, the first one would have to, and I didn't want to open another thing because 2 videos uploading at the same time really brings down my internet, and I'm not the only one in the house. And it was Friday, my dad was working from home, so I really didn't want to hog the internet. So I kind of X'd out of that, and I was like, if it's not uploaded by like 3 or 4, I'll see about it. And I accidentally forgot to check during that time period. So about right after dinner I checked, and I had like 96%, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave that, and waited. I think it uploaded about 8, and some of my friends were like, we'll watch it tomorrow. But my friends that did watch, they had a lot of comments, and one of them was, I seemed adorable, which I enjoy that comment. But the other one was, I was really uncomfortable, which one of the main reasons is where I was shooting was in the living room on my couch, and that was not where I intended to shoot it. I actually never intended to shoot in my room either. But I had intended actually to do it from the floor in front of one of my favorite chairs that used to be in my old apartment. That's when I moved back home, I brought with me. And I had like all of everything set up to go, like all of my knitting and stuff all over the, like on the couch, so it kind of looked nice. And you know, I sat there, and that's actually where I had been getting ready to shoot it. And then when I turned on the camera, I noticed you could see, like as you can see here, which you kind of can't see a ton here, I think, because of my chair. But, like, you could see, like, everything next to the chair. On one side of the chair, I have all my silhouette stuff for my Etsy shop. And it's a mess. And then you can see my couch, which is where I do all my knitting, and it was a mess. I'm trying to get all that cleaned up now, but I just didn't want that to be in the video. And actually, and she said I didn't seem comfortable, and I wasn't. Like I said last time, I'm used to a script, and I didn't have one, so I was really nervous. And I know I say a lot. I don't think I say that in real life a lot. I know I said I say apparently a lot in real life, but again with the I just was really nervous, and the couch is not where I wanted to be, and I wasn't comfortable. And by the end of the video, it had gone so long. I do Plexus products, and you really aren't supposed to eat before, well, you can eat before some of them, but you have to wait like 30 minutes. And so what I do in the mornings, or I used to do, was I'd get up, I'd take my first pill that has to be separated from the Slim product, and I wait 20 minutes, and then I take the Slim and the rest of my morning pills, and then I wait 30 minutes till I can eat. I found out during that episode, usually I'm really good about it, and I can, you know, get everything, and I'm not, like, hungry or whatever. My mom, she recently started, and she's found she's really hungry by the time, like, lunch comes around at work. But when I was shooting, I just, by the end of it, like, my alarm went off in the middle of it, and I went really long afterwards, and I just, by the end, I was so hungry that I was getting dizzy and was trying just to, like, figure out where to end, because I was getting, like, everything was going blurry for me. And so I ended without, like, really saying goodbye. And, well, actually, I did say goodbye, but I cut that out because my tongue was so tied at that point that I mumbled everything, like, at my exit. So I just cut it off. And I went and ate something and felt fine. And so, like, you know, I wasn't comfortable. And I'm more comfortable here, still not completely 100% comfortable, but I mentioned in the last one, I've been rewatching all my favorite podcasts. And I found out that I have to do it one at a time. I've been trying to switch between three: The Grocery Girls, Bookish Stitcher, and The Lone Larch, were the three I chose to start with, because they're the ones I watched the most. And I know for the Bookish Stitcher, she has like a ton, like I think 150 or something like that. And I know when I saw, I think she was at like 50 or something, maybe 60 when I first started watching her. And so I didn't want to rewatch all those old episodes. So sorry, I'm trying really hard not to sneeze. And so, like, I never watched the beginning ones for her. I watched the beginning ones for the Grocery Girls because I started watching them right as they started. So I really just wanted to rewatch. But I found out that if I switch between them, I kind of get confused. And I'm like, I want to know what happens next with the other one. So I've kind of stuck with Grocery Girls this past week. And just, like, watch them continuously. I've switched between other regular podcasts. Like, I love watching, listening to the old Sherlock ones from, like, the radio, and I love those. They're so much fun to listen to. I do have favorites. Like, the beginning ones were my favorite. Later ones, not so much. But I've been mainly watching Grocery Girls, and I've gotten up to, I think, I have my computer up here now instead of my cell phone, so I can see better. I am up to episode 48, and I think it's their Knit City 2017 one. And I've actually watched their newest episode just because I saw it had come up, and I watched their newest off our needles. But basically, I've been kind of staying in chronological order, and I love that. But it's caused me to, it's caused me to, really want things. But things that have happened this week. So, Thursday I didn't think anything was going to happen after I shot my episode. So I was like, I was just like, I'm gonna go get my allergy shot and then come home and edit. A lot of things happened. I went to my ENT, which I go to the one in Stony Point, Virginia. Which I don't actually know if that's a place. I know Stony Point is like the mall. I've never really actually thought about it that hard. I live in a subdivision in a very rural area. Like, once you get out of my subdivision, there's like the high school where my mom and brother went to school, but then there's just cows and dirt roads and cows and curvy back roads, and just, you know, to go to any mall, you have to go 30 minutes in any direction and you get to a mall. You have the Virginia Center Commons, which is like, it used to be really nice, now it's kind of run down, but it's like the cheaper area. And then you have Short Pump, which is where most people go where I live, and that's kind of the middle to higher end. And then you have Stony Point, which is really expensive, but they have the really nice movie theater called Sunny Bistro or Cine Bistro, and we go there for my birthday every year. I love it. It's like you get a movie and dinner, and they have alcohol, and they have, well, their alcohol is not all that good, but they have, you know, just delicious food, and you get to sit and watch a movie, and it's really nice, and there are no annoying kids. But there also aren't a lot of the movies I like to watch, which are like the Disney movies and the, you know, not the, they have like the rated R and PG-13 movies. But I go to my doctor there, which is 40 minutes away, and I like that. It's a really nice office. But to get, when they told me I needed allergy shots, I didn't want to drive that far. So they had another office that was only like 25 minutes away from me, so I was like, I'll go there. The thing about this office is, I mentioned last time, I get really sick easily. And the office is all the way at the very end of this long hallway, and they have all these like primary care and urgent care and all this other, is a lot of sick people. And the ENTs usually doesn't have a ton of really, really sick people, but every time I go, I seem to get something. And not all the time, so, like when there are a lot less people, I don't. But like from the minute I walked in, just felt off. And I got into the office and I was really shocked, because I go at a certain time and there's never been, usually it's me and no one else. Well, except for the nurse and the reception lady. And the room was packed, and I was really uncomfortable just because there were so many people there, and I was starting to not feel good, and I was like, don't think that way, don't think that way, you're fine, everything will be okay. I sat down, and when they called me back, you know, I was trying to get more comfortable. The nurse lady, she's the one that gives me my shot every week, and I was like, you know, I made a joke, trying to make myself feel better. You know, there's really a lot of people in the office, or something going on. And she just said, oh, that's because we're closing in 3 weeks. I was like, what? How did I not know? She's like, there's a sign that's been up for a month. And I was like, I've seen the sign. It doesn't say anywhere on there the office is closing. And so, like, she gave me my shot, and I went downhill from there. I ended up getting really, really, I threw up. Had to get checked out and stuff, and I just didn't feel well. I went home and laid down for about an hour and a half with a milkshake, because I was told to, even though that didn't make sense to me, but I haven't had a milkshake in a while, so I was like, sure. It actually did make me feel better for some reason. It like settled my stomach, and I just haven't felt really well since. I'm getting better, but I haven't felt well. And then I actually felt really well yesterday morning, and I was like, I'm gonna, you know, I figured out, I was like, I don't want to do it in the Florida room. So I was like, I'm gonna clean my room. When I don't feel well, I don't really clean. I don't feel well often, so like my room, it's not a huge mess. My mom would say it was, but for me, it's actually not a huge mess. It's mainly just clothes on the floor. Was the biggest thing. But if I don't feel well, I don't give a crap. But there are times where, like, my body's really weird, and it'll just tell me I need to do something. For some odd reason that's cleaning. When I was in my apartment at college, like, there would be times where I didn't feel well, but like my body would say, I need to clean my closet. It was usually my closet. I had like an awesome walk-in closet that I miss so badly. If you can, I think you can see a little bit of my closet from here, but right there. I think you can see my book drawers. The drawers on the bottom are all book drawers, because like I had this awesome closet, and I love books, so I had like all these books, and they were alphabetized in these drawer thingies that looked nice. It was uber organized. Like, I can either be not organized or extremely organized, and it would just tell me to clean. Well, yesterday I felt so wonderful. I was like, I'm gonna clean my room, make it look nice, you know, I feel wonderful, so it'll be fine. I started at 10 in the morning. By like 2, I started to realize I didn't feel well. I had to do my nebulizer, and I just, like, by the time I went to bed really early, because I was just couldn't deal with it. I just felt like crap. But when I'm sick, I get a ton of knitting done, so I got a lot of knitting done, but I'm still really out of it. But other things, I went to the store with my mom and got this really awesome thing. And when I was cleaning yesterday, I found this. I mentioned last week that I made baby hats for my brother's friend. I still need to make a pom-pom. This is crocheted, and this, I found it when I was cleaning, because you can't really see it, but at the end of my bed, I have like this area that I'm setting up for my knitting stuff, and it's mainly just been piles of just my knitting stuff. And I kept what I was regularly working on kept in the Florida room, and what I wasn't working on kept here, just piled, and I usually didn't get to it. And when I was cleaning yesterday, I found that this hat, and I felt really bad originally because I gave the other baby one of these pixie, actually 2. This one and then one in Virginia Tech colors, because both the parents went to Virginia Tech. When I found this, I was like, ooh, I need this to the baby. I just need to get a pom-pom. And that was awesome. I didn't really get a lot of yarn this week, because 1, I didn't feel well, so I didn't go out, and 2, I didn't really feel like I needed it. The biggest thing I bought, I didn't actually intend to buy. I have decided to do 2 mystery knit along, or 1 mystery knit along. I don't know what the other one is. I know it's a knit along, but that's Batman. And I talked about those last time, but I was going to save up the money because the kit was a lot of money. More money than I have, because I don't really have a lot of money. So I was telling my mom about it, and she was in the middle of cooking dinner, and I just was going on and on, because sometimes I'll, you know, you talk to people when you're a knitter, even if they're not knitters and stuff, and you just kind of word vomit. Which is one of the reasons why I started this knitting podcast, was because I was word vomiting about knitting to people who don't knit. I do it a lot to my mother. And my dad, he really isn't interested in any of this. But my mom kind of is, so, you know, I was word vomiting about the mystery knit along and how excited I was for it. I was telling her about it, that I was going to save up the money to buy the kit. And she asked me how much was the kit, and I told her. And then I word vomited some more. And then she held up a finger and she says, hold on a second. And she went around the counter to her purse and came back and gave me the money. And I was shocked. And the only thing I remember saying was I was going to make it for her. Which she said I didn't have to, but I am. I think it's a cowl, just from the dimensions I read in the thing. It's a cowl. And it's by 2 different yarn companies. One of my favorites, 3 Irish Girls. Love them. And then Leading Men of Fiber, which I've only heard about twice on 2 different podcasts. The Grocery Girls one, and then I forgot what the other one was. But I've never really heard of them outside of that, never knit with them, so I'm excited to knit with their yarn. And I got an email the other day that it should be here next Tuesday. So I got that, and then while I was cleaning, I also found a stash of yarn. I actually got rid of most of it because it was yarn that I didn't really like to use, which is why it was in the pile of things that it wasn't nice yarn. It was acrylic and it was cheap. I think I got it on sale. But I found 2 balls of I think, Deborah Norville Serenity collection that I remember getting on sale. I think at Michael's while I was in college. And it's called Red Bayou. It's kind of like a pink camo, but brighter pink. And I was just like, I love this yarn. I'm going to make something out of it. So that was new. And then the green yarn I talked about last time that was supposed to be for a sweater. It wasn't Aran weight, which is what the pattern calls for. And I was like, it's going to be okay. You know, I wanted it in the type of yarn, like green and like something that screamed Irish to me. And because it was Celtic, the sweater I was going to make is Celtic cables. And I was like, I want it green. And I want it kind of a little bit tweedy. So I got this one yarn, even though they only had it in the light version, which was DK. And I knitted up a swatch, and I was just, by the end of the swatch, I was like, this isn't going to work. Just the stockinette stitches by itself was just too drapey, and just too, you could see right through it and stuff, and I knew it wasn't going to work for the sweater. And I didn't even want to start the sweater with yarn that I didn't even like, which I found out later. I was going to re-look up where I had found the yarn that they used in the pattern, and the original website I found had it for like $17 for one skein, but then I found the actual website for the yarn makers, and it's only €9 for one ball. And so I was like, you know, I'm gonna save up, because for the amount of yarn I need, it's a little over $100 for the amount I need. So I was like, I'm gonna save up for that, since I don't have to save up for the other thing anymore. And I'm gonna save up for that and start that in March, which will be, you know, really nice, because that's I think that's St. Patrick's Day is March, and I really love St. Patrick's Day. So I was like, I'll start it, and then it'll be my St. Patrick's Day cast on. And so I was like, I don't really want to waste this yarn. I love this yarn. It's really nice. And I was like, you know, maybe I can find something to use one skein of it on. And then, you know, I can maybe find a full skein swap, because I didn't really want money for it. Because I just, you know, the money for it, I just use on another skein of yarn. So I was like, maybe find a swap on Ravelry. I didn't really find any, but I was looking through my Instagram feed right afterwards, and I saw that Kay Hopkins was still having her birthday sale. It was continuously going on, and the picture she had in her post was, hold on, I've been sneezing a lot recently. The one she had in her post was her Irish shawl. And it wasn't in green, but I was like, Irish, green, you know. It was just, and it was in the weight that, of yarn that I had. So I was like, you know, I'm going to get this, and I'm just going to start knitting it right away. And I actually did. I really love this pattern. It is really quite nice. It kind of curls in on itself at some areas at the moment, but once I block it out, that will stop. But it's really, like, from other podcasts, I've heard people say, like, Ho Hilo Catelli's patterns, like, even though they're, like, really big and intricate looking, they knit up really fast because you're, like, changing colors or changing stitches and stuff. This one knits up really fast. Like, this body area, you increase once along with the yarn over, and then it's just knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, this whole entire section. And then this section never changes. It's the edging. So it's the exact same, but it's like you go from this little section, which like has a cable in it, and is mainly purl stitches, to this section, which has increases and decreases and little I forgot what they're called, but like buds. It reminds me a lot of a newt, but takes a lot more work to do it. And I love it. I'm halfway through the 4th repeat of the main cable pattern, because you had, main chart pattern. and you had like a small little chart for the beginning, and then a small little chart that goes into the body of it, and then you have the body one, which you just kind of repeat. The only thing that changes is you continue on with, you just knit and purl more. I just love how it looks. So I'm gonna, once I finish this, I'm gonna block it and then put it on Etsy. Speaking of Etsy, I have put up newborn baby hats that I sell a lot here at home, and my mom told me I should put them up. And also, my mom, last time I mentioned, I showed the necklace that my friend Sky, alright, so this is the one my mom made me for Christmas, well, not for Christmas, but like it was my Christmas necklace that I wore. And I love this one, it jingles. And they remind me so much of my socks she used to crochet for me when I was little, because I loved my Jingle Bell socks. I still wish I had them. Mom's like, you can make them yourself. But I was like, no, it was more fun to have you make them for me. But my mom loves making these so much, and she spends a lot of money just finding beads that she enjoys, and you know, just she gets a lot of enjoyment out of it. And she made so many, she has like 30. And she's been giving them away to people. But I'd mentioned once that, you know, I could put them up on Etsy for her. And so she was like, let's put a couple up there and see how they do. So the necklaces like that, they are $20 and $25. Mainly, we actually wanted to sell them for less. But my mom gets really nice beads, like really nice beads. I think one of them, the reason that it's $25, it has actual chips of amethyst in it. And so she's like, or amethyst chips. And so she didn't want to do it for less than $25, because then she didn't make any money on it. And she wants to make a little bit of money on them. So those are in my Etsy shop. I think we have Mardi Gras, which I think's the one with the amethyst. And then we have one named after me, Emmy Waves, Valentine's, and all this stuff. And my mom's tried to sell them at work now, but most of the people at her work are buying those like $5 jewelry, so they really don't want to spend more than $5 on jewelry. But so much effort went into these necklaces that, you know, I think she deserves to sell them for an amount that she can actually make a profit on. And so my newborn hats are up there. They're I think the newborn hat I think is like $13 without a pom-pom. I think it's like $15 with a pom-pom. And then so I've been doing a lot of Etsy stuff recently. I'm thinking of only adding stuff maybe twice a month, because I just want to, you know, knit a lot. I don't have my, I showed y'all last time I finished beaded bracelet, but I have like a bunch of beaded bracelets that I've been working on that are in lavender heather, blue heather, and then Lorna's Laces violet. And they're just so pretty. And I'm going to put those up later in February. And then the last thing I've been working on and is my first pair of socks. And they are Joji Locatelli's Beach Grass. And I love the pattern. Okay, I know for a fact these are going to be too, like this cuff is going to be tight on my mom, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Like the leg is going to be a little bit smaller so it doesn't choke her leg as it gets higher on her calf, so it won't go up as high. But so far I love this pattern. I've only made really one mistake, and I'm not sure how I made it. The back side back here, I was noticing when I was on the third repeat of the 10-row pattern that when I went to go do the first row of the repeat, which has a lot of yarn overs and stuff, that it didn't line up when I got to the end. And I was like, it's supposed to have, you know, certain amount of stitches, and I counted and I was like 4 off. I was like, how in the world did that happen? So I fixed it in the next round. But so like the pattern's a little bit off, but my mom won't mind and she won't notice, and it's the back of the leg, so it's not really that obvious. But I love these, though I've been working on the shawl more. And I've also been working on the Estonian lace shawl, but it kind of doesn't really look any different until it gets to the top. I'm not going to show. But so I have these, and then all of the patterns I'm going to be talking about, which I'm almost done, But all the patterns I'm going to be talking about, I'm hopefully going to put in the video, like somewhere like right over here. If not, then the show notes will be below, like the link to my website, which will have the show notes and all of the links to all the patterns I've gotten this week. And pictures will be there, so they link you to their Ravelry page. And then the link to the mystery knit along is there too. So if you want to do it or you want to get the kit. So sorry, I got my allergy shot earlier today because later today I have to give myself my eczema shot. And I didn't want them so close together, so I called this morning and got my allergy shot earlier so I could do this, and then I could have a separation between the two shots. And ever since I got the shot, I've been sneezing. But yeah, so the links are in the show notes, which are on my website. And if you want to do the mystery knit along, the links to both of the Ravelry pages where you can sign up. So if you do the thing, you can win $50 for yarn. And then the links to both of the websites for 3 Irish Girls and Leading Men of Fiber are on there too. Leading Men of Fiber no longer has the kit. They've sold out. But as of right before I started recording, the 3 Irish Girls still have at least one. I don't really know if they have any more, but because it doesn't tell you. But they still have a ton, and they have a ton of really good yarn, and it's actually really affordable for hand-dyed yarn. I think it's like $19 for one skein, which is a lot cheaper than where all the other yarns I've seen that are like $28 or in the 20s. And the shipping is only, well, for me, it's only like $3. So I was like, you know, it's really not that bad. But other patterns I've gotten this week are the Irish shawl, that from Kay Hopkins. And then I also got her sandal, I think it's no longer on sale because I think it's February 1st as I'm recording this. So I think they're all not on sale anymore, but I got her $100 shawl, which I'm going to make for my mom. I think I'm going to make it in like light blue. That's on my planner thing too, because my mom really loves the beach. Like if she could live at the beach, she would. And then I was looking through my Rabbit app and I found this shawl called Draken, which looked really cool. Like the one I saw was like pink with like pink and like I couldn't really see what other color, but it was like a grayish or something, and it looked like dragon scales. So I was like, I must knit this. And then okay, I don't have it with me, but I will put a picture of my Fantastic Beasts project bag. I have that, and then this is actually not a project bag, but for my mom's work, she's a teacher, and every year when people retire, like this year I'm working on my mom's video, they usually do like a PowerPoint or something for them at the end of the year. I've done so many of those that Mrs. Payne, one of my favorite people at my mom's school, she gave me this one year with an E for Emmy, and I've used it as place to put my meds, place to put my makeup, you know, all this other stuff. But when I've been using this for a shawl, I'm using the Fantastic Beasts for my bracelets. I was like, I really like that because it keeps them nice and neat, and I can like zip them up and put them somewhere else so that they don't get in the way. I was like, I'm going to use this for my socks because it can fit both balls of yarn and the socks in there. So I was like, I'm using that. And then, let's see, this I found it while I was cleaning. And I remember the reason I didn't use it when I got it, it's the Clover yarn cutter, is because it didn't come with something to hold it on. And one of my friends got me this opal necklace for Christmas, and I haven't taken it off except to shower since then. So I was just like, since I'm wearing this all the time, why not just put this? I love it. It's right here, and when I was actually cleaning, since all that old yarn, it kind of got tangled up together, I was like, snip, snip, snip. It's just, you know, really quickly to clean up the yarn if you can get it unattached to things. So this is not really new, but I started using it this week. And then let's see, I got something called Frosted Leaves from Lisa Hands. I can't really pronounce her name, but it's just beautiful. It's got like these leafy patterns, but it's got a ton of ribbing at the bottom and garter stitch at the top, and it just looks gorgeous. I really like it in this. It's got a bluish green color. I just love it in that. And then I got Amber Waves from Lee B. Tybalt. I can't really pronounce her last name, but it's part of the Barocco Ravelry store. And it's just like a really pretty yellow shawl that has like wavy patterns. And I really love that. And then since I was making socks for my mom, I want to try different patterns, not just the same pattern over and over again. So I was like, once I finish these, I want a sock pattern for myself. I found one that's called Paradia by Virginia Sadler Ramier. And it looks really pretty. It's like these lace, it's a lace design that makes like a triangle. And I really liked that. And then the other day I was watching Grocery Girls, and I found they were talking about these Clark socks, and they're just like, they're really long and there's beautiful. She did them in, I think, a speckled pattern or something like that, but it was mainly whitish, I think, from my memory, which is not all that good. But I was like, I'm gonna have enough yarn to do one of those in this, and the picture has like something kind of like this, but more maroonish. So I was like, I'm gonna do this yarn in that pattern. And so I was like, those are the ones I'm gonna be doing. And then Ravelry went on sale with kits, or well, like their kits went on sale. And I've always wanted to make the Grocery Girl shawl by Joji Locatelli. So I got a kit for that. I got, I think, red and then blue and white yarn. I like the two together. I don't know why. It's probably not going to look nice to everybody else, but I just really like it and I kind of want to make it. So I got that plus the pattern. And while I was there, I got the pattern Pure Joy, because they've been talking about that and I really want to make that too. And then I found, while I was on Ravelry getting that, I found this shawl called Crystal Helix, and it's got a bunch of beads on it, and it's kind of smallish. It's not a huge shawl, and it's got like, it kind of looks just kind of dainty and nice, and so I was like, I really want to make that. And I think, sorry, really trying not to sneeze. Whew. Yeah, still not completely comfortable, but I'm getting there. The last thing that pattern I got was, again, from watching the Grocery Girls. She had these mittens that she said knit up really fast and went from really small sizes to really big sizes. And I looked at them and I was like, ooh, I really want to knit these. And they're called the Antler Mittens. And I really want to make them for my mom. She had these mittens that that my aunt Cindy, her older sister, made her. And she had them for years, and she just used them all the time in the winter. And then she lost one of them. I think she lost one of them. Something happened, so she didn't have them anymore. And I made her my first pair of mittens. And at the time, I didn't know about doing 2 at a time. And so they're really oddly shaped. Like, one's a lot longer than the other one, and she uses them all the time. But I want to make her a nice pair of mittens, so I'm gonna make these for her. And, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, my knitting area. See, you can see the shawl pattern, my little Tinkerbell. Well, that's it. This has been Rebel Knitting Podcast. I'm Emmy, and I hope you have a wonderful week. God bless.